Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Survive If I'll Let You podcast. My name is Jerome Levesque. I'm glad and proud to bring you this brand new podcast here in the wrestling industry. I've never been someone who worked in the business, but I've followed wrestling and I've been a fan for 16 years now. So I think I am fairly confident in having the capacity to bring you my view on wrestling and the latest news. Like today, there is 4 big points that I want to talk about. The ratings for Raw and Smackdown have been laid out, and it's not looking good for the mainstream company. Then there's a huge news that dropped today being Wednesday, August 10, for TNA signed a new wrestler that's going to debut tomorrow. And Lucha Undergroung just posted a trailer for the season 3 that is starting on September 7. And I'm gonna break down a little good and main stuff that I saw in that trailer that I'm gonna talk about and break it down for you. But first and foremost, let's go with the WWE, which is the biggest and mainstream company in professional wrestling / sports entertainment today. The ratings for Raw came in and they dropped under the 300 million viewers mark, which is something because this show wasn't competing against anything really huge except maybe the Olympics. But other than that, they're competing against absolutely nothing. It is not a holiday. It is just a regular day in the business, and they dropped under 3 million viewers. There's a rating breakdown for Raw. I don't have it for SmackDown, but I have it for Raw. The first hour drew 2.95 million viewers. There's a little upgrade in the viewership during the second hour with 2.97, but a huge drop in the third hour, being at 2.80, I should say. So that's an average of, that's a low average. This is under 300. This is really what's wrong. The rating itself is 2.05. The lowest they went is on 4th of July at 1.87. When wrestling on Monday night is going under a 3, and that's been for a while, but a 2.05 is not good for the WWE, especially knowing that they have all of that money. They are the number 1 brand, and there's nobody that's gonna bring them out of the number 1 spot. The fact that your flagship show drops under 3 million viewers is really a signal of you should do something to change it, to draw the eyeballs on your show. And as I watched the show, I gave up at this after the first hour. Nothing really happened on Raw that kept me motivated to watch the show. I don't want to sound like I'm someone who doesn't know what's going on and that just want the old wrestling back, but that's what worked. There was 10 million viewers on a wrestling show on Monday nights, and now it's under 3 million. What happened to the other 7 plus viewers that is not watching anymore? It's because the show is not compelling. It's just about wrestling, scoop slam, and clothesline, and punches, and suplexes. Nobody cares about the suplexes in the ring. The fact that it takes 15 super kick to knock out someone is something that nobody wants to see. It's just the storylines are not interesting and or consistent, so they're not compelling to the masses audience, which is the guys that you want to bring back into wrestling. But the WWE doesn't seem to do that, if we can talk on Raw, because on SmackDown I'm seeing that they are trying to do something outside of just plain wrestling, which is good, even though we're going to get to the SmackDown ratings real quick. They are still dropping from the draft, but the Olympics is on, and it was expected that, the draft will be the highest rating until SmackDown proved that they can go on, which I'm thinking that they are doing really well right now. Even though last week's show wasn't the best, but it's still more enjoyable, and it's not as hard to watch as Raw is. Really, really good point for SmackDown there, but the fact that nobody cares about, they're putting the things that nobody cares as a main priority on Raw is probably the reason why they dropped under 3 million viewers this week. And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make a change, that next week we're going even further. I wouldn't be surprised that we have an average of 2.70 viewers, 2.70 million viewers, I should say, because they were almost at 3 million still in the first and second hour, but the third hour just dropped out really fast. They dropped like 170,000 people, which is a lot, but this is the state of WWE right now. This is the state of wrestling. It's just sad to see an industry that went on forever and had a lot of success, and they just went backward. It's really sad. So let's move on the SmackDown ratings here. The SmackDown ratings, like I said, I don't have the actual hours by hours or minutes by minutes, the breakdown of the ratings, but we know that they averaged 2.46 million viewers, which is lower than Raw, yes, but like I said, people are not used to SmackDown being on Tuesday or being live, and the difference between the twos. So this is just gonna give time to people to actually watch SmackDown and say, hey, the 2 hours of SmackDown is not as bad as 3 hours of Raw. So people are probably gonna stop watching Raw and say, I'm gonna come back to SmackDown and see what's up with that. So that's what I'm thinking, is that the progression is still in the process, but I don't see I don't see Raw recovering from their mistake and being under 3 millions now, but I see SmackDown going up in the ratings as the weeks go further. So that's my coverage of the ratings for the WWE. And now let's go straight to TNA, that having their show tomorrow on Thursday night, and it's the first show of the taping, so it's going to be live on Pop TV, and there's a lot of stuff happening. There's a tag match that been announced, and then there's Bobby Lashley against James Storm. If Bobby Lashley wins, he's going to have basically all the singles title male-wise. Then the only titles he's going to need is going to be the Tag Team Championship, because obviously, unless they really want to give him all the titles in the company, somehow he's going to go for the knockout, but I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, so TNA has 2 matches announced for tomorrow, but they also put a video covered by the Rolling Stones magazine website online of a new wrestler that they signed. And it's basically saying that he's going to make thing on his own. And at the end, you'll hear the classic song of Hallelujah going on, which was, for people who knows, the theme song of Damien Sandow in the WWE. So I'm highly thinking that they signed Aaron Stevens, which honestly, in an entertaining point of view, it's going to help TNA. It's a great addition if it confirms to be him. And even Aaron Stevens put out a tweet retweeting the article and saying, that's interesting, let's make an impact. So I'm thinking that it is actually happening, that it is Aaron Stevens that's going to show up tomorrow. And that, I think, for other people saying, oh, it's another former WWE guy, it's obviously they're going to have former WWE guys, because first, WWE dropped the ball solid on Aaron Stevens, and if you want to attract people on your show, you have to get names that drew, and Damien Sandow is a name that draw. It's a drawing name in wrestling right now as we speak. Just look at WCW back in the day. They bring former WWE superstars, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall. They bring a bunch of former WWE names, and they help the WCW to build the juggernaut that they were until the Attitude Era came in. So the fact that they take former WWE superstars and stuff like that isn't a bad thing. It's just that you need to take the people that you and the viewers know that the WWE dropped the ball on them, and they can be something. Just look at EC3, look at Drew Galloway, and Bram, and other people like that. They doing pretty good in TNA, and that's not a bad thing at all for TNA to pick up a guy like Aaron Stevens. To be honest with you, like I said, it's a great addition, and I cannot wait to see what they're gonna do with him. Hopefully, they don't drop the ball as well. But with what we saw with Derek Bateman becoming EC3, one of the most over wrestler in the industry today, not just in TNA, in the industry today, is one of the most over, and that's a good thing that TNA took a WWE guy and transformed into that big name that EC3 is. So hopefully Aaron Stevens, formerly known as Damien Sandow, will have the same result at the end of the day. So let's go straight to the last point of the day, which is a Lucha Underground trailer for Season 3 that it has been up. Lucha Underground posted on Twitter. Really nice trailer that got me hype. We know that it's on September 7 that the Season 3 gonna start, so it's pretty soon. It's in about a month, so we don't gonna have to wait until January like we waited for Season 2. So that's really good. There's a couple of stuff that attract me when I saw the trailer that I'm gonna try to address here. I have a couple of points. So we saw at a point at the beginning of the trailer that Phoenix and Melissa Santos, who is the ring announcer and Drop Gorgeous, really one of the most beautiful women in wrestling today, they seems to have something going on between these two. So that's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out and how it's gonna be portrayed in the actual TV show and not just in the trailer. But it seems like there's gonna be some spice into Melissa Santos. She's not just gonna be the ring announcer anymore, so that's good, because I'm pretty sure she has a lot of talent on screen, and she could be really a good addition into the storylines and stuff like that in that show. Other than that, we saw that Paul London has a group of wacky wrestlers with him, so that's someone new that has been signed to Lucha Underground, I would say. And Paul London fits the Lucha Underground mindset, which is just perfect for him to be back on TV and to do his shtick. Then we saw that a shot of Dragon Azteca Jr. in the locker room area, and there's someone with flaming boots and like a flannel on him that I'm thinking is Chavo Guerrero. So Dragon Azteca Jr. was like mentored by Rey Mysterio in Lucha Underground, so I don't know if there's going to be like a backstory of Chavo trying to bring Drago Azteca with him. But that's another shot we got. We got a shot of AR Fox that's going to be signed in to Lucha Underground for that season. We have a shot of Sami Callihan, who is formerly known as Solomon Crowe in WWE NXT. That's been signed to Lucha Underground as well. So a lot of addition in the roster of Lucha Underground, and I think it's going to be great. And we have a little follow-up of Dario Cueto with Matanza being in prison, in jail. So that's going to be another interesting fact to see how that's going to play out, because as we remember, the Lucha Underground Season 2 ended with Dario Cueto being arrested in his temple, brought into prison. So we'll see what happened with that story. At some point we saw Joey Ryan and Cortez fighting into the police office. So that's another thing that is going to be really interesting how the tension goes. And at the end of the trailer, we see Vampiro grabbing Prince Puma by the throat. So I am really thinking that there's going to be a really dark program with Pentagon, Vampiro, and Puma. Even though the end of last season with Pentagon just attacking and destroying Vampiro, I don't know if that's another plot twist from his maestro and something like that, but that all of that together is really, really gonna be interesting to follow up, and I cannot wait to watch Lucha Underground Season 3. I missed a lot of Season 2, but that trailer just put me back in, and I really, really, really cannot wait to see how all of this is playing out. Alright, so that's it for the first episode of Survive If I'll Let You podcast. My name is Jerome Levesque, and we're gonna bring you episode number 2 next week with all the big news and the ratings in wrestling. Thanks for listening, guys, and we will see you next time.